You know, after reading this chapter, honestly, I have started to question how exactly is anyone, not just Ichigo, but quite literally anyone, is going to defeat Yuha. Because looking at what is going on over here, okay, looking at what happened in this chapter, it's basically impossible for at least Ichigo to hold a candle against Yuha. It was a pathetic massacre. Yuha literally broke every single last ounce of hope that Ichigo had of defeating Yuha. He literally destroyed it, you know. And of course, he talked about his powers. He pretty much didn't explain how it works, but he did reveal what his power exactly is. So that I'm happy about that. But what he did to Ichigo today, in this chapter, very well shows that how powerful Yuha is. The whole purpose of this chapter was to show exactly how powerful Yuha is. We all know that he's powerful, but how exactly powerful he is, I mean, this is, of course, only one aspect of his powers. Yeah, I mean, he has shit ton of other abilities. For example, he has his Quincy abilities. For example, go and absorbing Ryatsu and shit like that. He has those other abilities of a regular Quincy as well. Plus his Almighty. Plus then he has the stolen Bankai of Yamamoto. And then he has Soul King's powers, which he got through absorbing Soul King. Like, he has those abilities and he's just using one of them. And I don't even think that he's using in a way to actually even fight Ichigo. He's just using it to play around with him. He's not even really that serious while fighting Ichigo, and that just is quite pathetic. I mean, you basically got in terms with your powers, you got in terms with your Quincy, and you got in terms with your Hollow / Shinigami powers, and now you have this balance inside of you, right? You've gone through some training in the Soul Palace, and although the training wasn't for that long, I mean, maybe a day or two, or maybe 3 days of training, but it was indicated that Ichigo's powers have increased a lot. Okay, Ryatsu has increased a lot. Even Shunsui said to his friends, like, okay, when Ichigo will be done with his job, his abilities, his powers would be so great that the world of the living won't be able to handle his strength. So it is a possibility, a major possibility, that he has to stay in the Soul Society, in the Seirei, just so that he could really, the world of the living would be safe and not get exposed to Ichigo's overwhelming Ryatsu. So said the fact that he has so much amount of power, and the fact that his Bankai is released in this chapter, all of it, even when you add it up, it still is not good enough. And it isn't surprising that it's not good enough to fight Yuha. I mean, I wasn't really that surprised. Like, okay, yeah, I could say that I was expecting that Yuha would Yuha would come up with new tricks. Yeah, I mean, he won't just fight him with his Almighty. I actually thought that at least this Bankai would be able to give Ichigo at least a bit of a fighting chance. But no, absolutely not. What surprised me is not Yuha being more stronger than Ichigo, which was very much established from the very beginning that he is stronger than Ichigo, and even with his training, he's still stronger than Ichigo. What really surprised me was that for Yuha, it was so simple. It was so very simple to just demolish Ichigo. Ichigo gets in his Bankai, and what we see is his new Bankai look. I mean, his appearance, as in his clothes, don't really change, but his sword does. It looks more like his original sword, like when it was before the full bring, and kind of does has that the tip does looks like his full bring sword, but kind of not exactly like it, but kind of, and it has an extended blade, his bowie knife, kind of like his bowie knife, and from that point to the end, to the tip, his chain goes around, and I mean you'll see that in my thumbnail, okay, and you guys would have already read the chapter, so you know what the fuck am I talking about. But it's actually a cool design. It doesn't look like his original sword when it was in his Bankai, which was quite slim, and it also doesn't look like his Dango Ichigo form, which was a bit longer, and its guard was also quite extended. It doesn't look anything like that. And with that, when he reveals it, I'm like, okay, fine, okay, this has to do something, right? It has to at least make Yuha, show us some more of his powers. At least that, I mean, I'm not expecting this to damage Yuha, but at least I'm expecting it to, make Yuha try more harder than he is right now. Okay, so what we see in the next page is Tensa Zangetsu is broken, and for a moment I was like, did I made a mistake? Like, is this the right page? Like, it's broken. It just broke. Like nothing happened. It just broke. How is it possible? And the next thing you see is Yuha holding the broken piece. Ichigo was as surprised as I was. I mean, of course he would be more surprised than that, because he never even sensed his Ryatsu. Ichigo was standing right there. He never saw Yuha, coming at him. He never saw anything remotely to make him move around, like, okay, he's coming. He just was standing with his sword over there like that, and it just was broken when he saw it like this. And the next thing that we see is Ichigo's horn is also cut down, and it's in Yuha's hand. When the fuck did that happen? And quite literally, Yuha attacks him again. He attacks him again. Ichigo tries to block his attacks. Nothing really happens, because pretty much whatever Ichigo is doing is very well predicted, or rather orchestrated by Yuha. He's pretty much acting like a puppet and getting punched like a punching bag. And as this is going on, even Orihime tries to, defend Ichigo. She tries to create a shield, but it works momentarily. Like when she raises that shield, a trap comes out from behind and gets Ichigo. So in that way, literally whatever you do will not work. And then finally Yuha reveals the true meaning of Almighty. He says that the power of Almighty is it's not to see the future, it's actually to create the future itself. He literally creates the future. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how exactly does his powers work. Like, okay, so he's creating the future, right? So does that mean that every aspect of the world that we are in, the world that we are in, is being orchestrated by his future, or is it just the zone that he's in right now? He's creating it, or is it the fact that anything that happens in the future, okay, he can make it in his own favor, and that is creating the future. We still don't exactly know how his powers work, but like he said, he basically creates future itself, and that is scary. That is a scary ability. This ability pretty much allows Yuha to fuck around with Ichigo the way he wants. Like, he literally can kill Ichigo at any second, and that's what I'm thinking. Like, why isn't he doing that? Why is he not killing Ichigo when he has the time, and when he can kill Ichigo at any fucking second? He can literally make Ichigo explode right now, like just like that. Okay, so bang. Yeah, like that. I mean, he could do that at any second. Why is he even giving him at least even a single bit of fighting chance? Even, by the way, when Ichigo turned Bankai, and when Yuha destroyed his sword, he said that your Bankai, your Tensei Zangetsu's power is quite fearsome. It's actually quite strong. Okay, so yeah, he was strong, but because it was that strong, I just made the future up so that it would get broken. How can you fight someone who has such an ability? What are you going to pull off? What factor what is the factor that you're going to come up with, which is going to tackle with this ability of his? Okay, now there are a few things that are in my mind about the situation. Okay, how are they going to tackle it? I don't really know. I know I always say that bring up Aizen, get Aizen back. Okay, I am a fan of Aizen. I really like his character. People call him troll, and I can understand why, but I still like his character, and he's a very cool character. So as much as it seems like an impossibility, I think Aizen is probably the key for everything. Like, I think that's how it's going to work. I don't know, somehow they bring Aizen back there, and Aizen goes Bankai, and he's like, okay, bitch, if you can change the future, if you can create the future, I have the ability to destroy your future, or some shit like that. I mean, this has to somehow link it, because Gubo won't just bring out Aizen to just keep him in the Serete, where like he's strapped in this BDSM chair. Like, that's it. That's all you get, Aizen. That's all the screen time you're going to get. I don't think that's how it is going to work. I think there is going to be much more than that for his character, at least. On the other hand, we have a broken Tensei Zangetsu. Now, we all know that there are only two people whose Bankai can be repaired. One is Komamura, and the other one is Korotsuchi. They are the exceptions because of reasons, and then, I mean, at least with Korotsuchi, he experiments with his sword, so I guess I can understand with that. But Komamura, I don't really know why. But other than that, any other bankais, any other Zanpakutos which go in bankai, and when they are broken, they are gone. They are gone, and they cannot be repaired unless you forge a new one. And now, Ichigo's bankai is broke at a time where he's fighting the main big bad. How exactly? How the fuck is that sword is going to be repaired? Like at the last minute, like Nehemiah is going to come up and like, oh, don't worry, I have like this. I have some glue and we could stick that together. I don't think that's going to happen. Like, what exactly is going to make this possible? Okay, unless of course Ichigo has like another form of his bankai, his Quincy form of his bankai. Okay, where the sword completely transforms into a bow, and you basically it repairs itself. If that's the case, that is the only way I could think of where Tensa Sangetsu would be returning back. Like it would be complete again and not broken. So that's the only thing that could happen. Okay, so for me, this chapter was basically just one big fat not reminder, but this was one big fat massacre. A massacre, and to pretty much knock us down, the audience and Ichigo, and remind us that, you know what, guys, even though Ichigo goes bankai, doesn't matter. Yuha is still strong. Well, we all already know that. We just thought that when he goes bankai, at least Yuha would do something other than use his almighty. But guess what? Even when his bankai is there, Yuha's almighty is very much good enough to fight this guy. Like, seriously. Anyways, what do you guys think about this chapter? Hope you have certain thoughts about this chapter, because I was baffled by how hopeless our situation is. What do you guys think? Do you think that the situation is as hopeless as it is? Okay, please share your thoughts in the comment section below. Till next time.